You know, I love my home state. I really do. I'm an interesting person. I've been quite a few places in this nation, and I ain't found a place that I love better than my home state. Now, I like Virginia Beach, where I'm currently living, here for specific reasons, but Tennessee is still my home. Virginia Beach is something else, but Tennessee has got its problems. I am well aware that Tennessee has its problems. And well, it turns out that there were quite a few cops in the state of Tennessee that were arresting people for driving under the influence when these people were sober. They were not allowing them to take a breathalyzer. The blood work tests were coming back, were taking forever to come back. So these people went under the stigma of having driven DUI when they were sober when they were driving. This is now costing communities money because they're getting sued. There's now probably what's going to turn into a class action lawsuit. Governors had to sign a bill to prevent this. This is idiotic. Why would you do this? So I'm going to cover what all went on because it is bad. And as much as I love my home state, I'm not going to let this. I'm not going to let this go. Now, before I get into this, hit like and subscribe whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble. I'm on all three. If you're on YouTube, I've got a little channel or a little shop associated with this. Got a couple of things that hopefully you'd be interested in. I'm going to get more stuff in there. I've just got to figure out how to get the shirts right. But hey, stick around. Let's talk about this story.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
Now, here are the facts. News reports and investigative journalism have documented instances of police in Tennessee arresting and charging drivers with DUI only for blood tests to confirm drivers were completely sober. A subsequent state law was enacted to formally track these incidents. The issue was brought to light by WSMB TV investigating called A Sobering Problem, which reported on the troubling pattern of wrongful arrest. Hundreds of cases. Between 2017 and 2023, the investigation found more than 600 cases where people were arrested for DUI in Tennessee, but were later proven completely sober by blood work. Specific officers involved. Reporting identified at least one state trooper who arrested 8 sober drivers. Other instances involved local police departments, such as an officer in Goodlettsville, who arrested 4 sober drivers. Denial of breathalyzer test. Some of the arrested drivers stated that officers refused their request for a roadside breathalyzer, instead relying on field sobriety test. Systemic issues. Critics, including attorneys, suggest that the problem is potentially a systemic issue with how some law enforcement agencies conduct DUI investigations and train officers. Now, if you've been on this channel, you know that I harp on training. I harp on 2 things: psychological issues within the criminal justice system and training. So I'm not the only person that sees this. Even though charges were dropped, in many cases, innocent people suffered significant consequences. Severe distress. Wrongfully arrested drivers described the experience as traumatizing and lost trust in law enforcement. Legal costs. Some of the individuals have filed federal lawsuits for false arrest and malicious prosecution, though many likely face high legal fees and other costs. Damage to livelihood. Some drivers reported losing their jobs and insurance while waiting for delayed blood test results that prove their innocence. Now, they now have a sober DUI law. In May 2025, Governor Bill Lee signed a law requiring the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation to track and publicly report the number of DUI arrests involving sober drivers. Enhanced reporting. Starting in 2025, the TBI must also identify which police agencies were responsible for these arrests. Now think of that for a minute. These folks are having to deal with this. And this is what's going on. Now, 5 sober drivers have filed federal lawsuits. This is coming from WSMB.com. This is in Nashville. They 5 sober drivers have filed a federal lawsuit against Tennessee police agencies that arrested them for DUI. One of the lawsuits against state troopers has already resulted in a settlement with the payout this week of $75,000 to the driver. It's the latest development in our sobering problem investigation, which is exposing how innocent drivers are being charged with the crime of driving under the influence. Roger Lewis is suing Mount Joliet police officers who arrested him for DUI. In the body camera footage of his arrest, Lewis disclosed to the officers that he has neuropathy and had 6 knee surgeries and was made to perform a field sobriety test while walking and standing on one leg. The body camera footage shows him falling several times. In the video, the arresting officer admitted it was his first DUI arrest. And, okay, WSMB Investigates asked Lewis why he decided to sue, because I saw 609 people on your series that's gone through what I've gone through, Lewis said, and I realized somebody starting with the governor up has to do something in Tennessee. Lewis said the event of his arrest still haunts him. I went for almost 6 months that I didn't hardly leave this house. And he says, you have no idea about the trauma he's going through. I had to go see a special doctor. I couldn't sleep still. I'm still not back to normal. Blood work would later come back showing a negative for alcohol, and the only drugs in the system were prescribed pain medication. His charge was dismissed. He's now suing. Tyler Chandler, the deputy chief of Mount Joliet Police, earlier wrote in an email that Kirkpatrick was right to arrest Lewis. Body-worn camera footage shows that the toxicology report already suggests this person should not have been driving, Chandler wrote. WSMB 4 Investigates has confirmed federal lawsuits have been filed against officers working for Clarksville Police, Laverne Police, and an additional lawsuit has been filed against state trooper who arrested Labrisha Beatty for DUI while she was sober. Why do you think people are turning to lawsuits now? WSMB4 Investigates asked Franklin Chansey, who is suing the state trooper on Beatty's behalf. Well, I think the DUIs have a real social stigma attached to them. So this is what's going on in the state of Tennessee. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not want somebody that is driving inebriated on the roads. For that matter, I know plenty of sober people that can't figure out how to drive on the roads. But you're destroying people's lives. A DUI arrest, there are companies that will fire you automatically if they hear that. They're more willing to keep people that get arrested till the trial date. But DUI, that will cause a lot of problems at jobs. So I have no problem with seeing why these folks are wanting to sue over this. This is a big deal. You know, and all the fines and everything, this is big money. And this training, oh, well, we need to use field sobriety. No, you don't. This guy that one guy had multiple knee surgeries, and you're having him bounce around on one leg? No, that's not a field sobriety test. Most of those field sobriety tests are a joke. I know people who are cops that have done those things, and they admit that they're a joke. They're more along the lines of a power trip than they are of any use. You do scientific things such as a breathalyzer test. You do scientific things like blood work. If you think somebody is inebriated, you get blood work done. And if they don't want to do it, well, you might want to. That's one of those things of, hey, you're automatically considered guilty if you deny getting any kind of blood work done, and you lose your license in several states. I'm not saying that I'm defending DUI drivers. What I'm saying is, if this is what's going on, no, that should not. No, that should not happen. These people are losing. This is costing taxpayers money. It is. But hey, they were making money off. They thought they could make all this money off of fines. Seriously, that's what they're thinking. You can't get many lawyers that are going to try the case, and the ones that will go to court over it are shysters most of the time. That is what these cops are thinking. So something needs to be done about this. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Well, hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.